We are live and we're going to talk about Deadpool. We do have spoiler alerts. Stay tuned.
Pink Sock Podcast, your go-to destination for a wild and unpredictable ride through the realms of music, comedy, cannabis culture, and beyond. With your host, the fearless, the irreverent, Mike Usenik, presenting eclectic, entertaining, enlightening, surprising content. Join in the fun, push boundaries, challenge conventions, explore the spectrum of human experience. We won't shy away from any topic. Entertainment, exploration, connection. Join us.
Eventually, we will talk about this. But today, we're going to talk about Deadpool Wolverine. Would you like to cover this eventually? This is the complete Deadpool origin.
I'm dyslexic, you jerk. But no, I know a lot of Deadpool stories already, but I wouldn't mind going over stuff.
Oh no, this is the actual chronological order of his appearances in comics, dating back to 1983.
Damn.
Yes, Deadpool's that old.
Yes, I know that.
His first appearance was in the New Mutants. But anyway, we're talking about Deadpool Wolverine. Now, there is a disclaimer. There is spoilers.
Spoiler warning.
Spoiler warning. I'm going to create a banner.
How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to the Pink Sock Podcast.
All right. Thank you, brother. I just wanted to add this banner so that if anybody's watching this. All right. So the movie, I will say we had different starts to our movie. Did you come in after the credits? Or after the beginning?
No, we were there when everything started.
So
I like to watch the previews.
Apparently not every single theater got the same last preview than we got, but we got the one with Deadpool and Wolverine, and they were arguing back and forth and about a phone that was ringing, and they looked in and it was the crowd, and they told them to shut their fucking phones off. Now, what was weird about that advertisement, it was censored, so you didn't really know what they were saying. Like, there was beeps. And the theater that we were in, there was not children, like children, like fucking 5-year-olds and shit. Yeah.
Mommy and Daddy want to go see the superhero movie. You're coming with us.
Now, before we jump into this incredible movie, how would you rank it when you compare it to the other Deadpools?
All right, for me, there's just something special about the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can't touch it, you can't mess with it. The second one's good, but I would say this is as good, if not just slightly better than the second one.
This one had an amazing budget, but as Deadpool said, not good enough for Robert Downey Jr.
They pointed that out there. Okay, so we're going to be vouching here, there, and everywhere about the movie, but they pointed that out as a little Easter egg in the film. If you remember from the first movie, how he went, okay, I only have 6 bullets, and there's like 12 guys. They did a similar scene with Wolverine's remains, where he's like, did you know there's 206 bones in the human body? 207 if there's. And I'm like,
if I'm watching, what was it, the Gilmore Girls?
No, his wife's on it. The one who plays Lady Deadpool.
Yeah. What show that was, but yeah, I remember. And what was weird is I did not expect us to get a build up to that point that was as good as it was.
Right.
And I also love the time travel aspect. I've been wanting that with Deadpool. We are going to jump all over the place with scenes. So just a heads up, we're not going to go from beginning to end. We're going to cover our favorite scenes and things that we remember.
And if you can't keep up, baby,
dude, that is the best fucking fight scene to fucking buy and sing.
Oh no, dude, like a Prayer was the best because there's something about that Madonna song that makes you want to just fucking fight.
What about that fucking fight scene in that car?
Oh, epic. It's fucking great.
And then Deadpool covered in the fucking belt,
like tied up. All right, so let's let's slow down a second here. The movie, as all of you know, this is the third movie in the Deadpool trilogy, whatever. The last official Fox made Marvel movie before Marvel just starts making all of them.
Well,
And
this was the first official Disney movie for Marvel.
right, but also considered the official last Fox one as well.
Yeah.
And Deadpool gets rejected for being an Avenger. Decides I'm done, and it's all pre-Endgame too. They make that clear in the movie that this happens pre-Endgame. He uses his time travel shit to figure out how to get to other universes, and then he jumped to 616 before Endgame and tried to apply for the Avengers.
But why? Why? I have a question. Why was Thor crying?
Yeah.
We never found out.
So because of that shenanigans, the TVA come in, and then stuff happens, and we see a lot of Deadpool's ass getting smacked.
Hey, you didn't explain why the TVA came in. The TVA came in because the main character, the main guy of Deadpool,
The anchor
of Deadpool's universe had died, so his universe is dying. So Deadpool decides, hey, fuck you to the TVA. I'm not going to join you guys. I'm going to find me my own Wolverine for my universe.
Well, he was all down to jump, but then he's like, all right, let me go home and get my folks and get my family and get my friends. And they're like, no, it's just going to be you. Everybody else is screwed. Oh, well, that's not going to work, muchachos. And that's when he goes on the grand journey to find a Wolverine to replace the one that died. Because, again, in the movie, he digs up Wolverine, the Wolverine from Logan, the one that died. He digs up his corpse, plays with it like a puppet, and talks about necrophilia. This is not a children's movie.
It's not at all. And what's fucking the best part, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but the best part is Deadpool, who's the outcast of the Marvel universe, who's pretty much a cast out. Is that fair to say?
Marvel. He's Marvel Jesus.
He is, but like he's a cast out in the Marvel universe. Like he's not like anybody else. He ends up finding the worst Wolverine in the cinematic universe. The alcoholic.
I'm interested to see what happened to that Wolverine, his full story, but I'm sure they're saving that for a Disney's Wolverine movie or show or something. But because it's supposed to be similar to what the character of Logan in the original timeline went through, but still it's him younger than that, so he can. It gets really confusing.
After Logan, sorry, I'm getting back into the story. After he found his Wolverine, which was the alcoholic with erectile dysfunction in his blades when they first found him,
that was drinking.
Yeah, that was due to drinking. He ends up going and back to the what are they? The TVA is the name of them. The TVA.
TVA, yeah.
He goes back to them and he's like, "Here's my Wolverine," and they're like, "You can't replace your Wolverine. He's dead." So he ends up breaking the dude's nose and he sends them to the trash pile, pretty much.
Yep. And then shenanigans.
We end up meeting Professor Xavier's sister.
Yes, in an alternate universe, Charles Xavier had a twin sister he tried to kill in the womb.
Remember, alternate universes, shit's about ready to get really confusing.
Yeah, this gets really weird.
Because
there's like
she's Professor Xavier's sister, but she's also much younger than Professor Xavier.
Right. So think of like 60s Xavier, but female with tits, not in a wheelchair and bald.
She's in a wheelchair, but you don't need it. Because when you first see her,
do freaky shit with her fingers.
Because when she first pulled up, she was in like a wheelchair type thing, but then she stood up. I would argue she's just as powerful as Xavier.
I could have sworn she was going to end up being like the new threat for the multiverse with the way they were setting her up.
Mm-hmm. And then we find out. Now, this is where I got confused because a lot of characters died. However, which universe did they die in? They never explained. Because there's various universes of various characters.
This will get really confusing very quickly.
So we find out. Now, start adding characters if I miss them, because I forget who all died. We are told that Daredevil died. We
Yeah.
were told that you go ahead because I can't fucking. I have memory.
It was Daredevil, Punisher, and as Deadpool said, which one?
There's 5.
So they mentioned that there was a Punisher, but they never say which Punisher. We had Johnny. Is it Storm from the Fantastic Four, or did Johnny Blaze? I always get the names mixed
Okay,
up.
let's backtrack because we skipped a major pivot point in the story. Before they meet Professor Xavier's sister, Deadpool, Wolverine, and then this big character gets revealed, and it's Chris Evans. Now, Chris Evans is wearing this big hood thing, so you're not really revealed. You think it's Captain America. It's a tease that it's Captain America. But when they go into battle, it's revealed that he's actually Johnny Blaze, or Johnny Storm, I think is his name.
Yeah, Storm. Blaze is Ghost Rider.
So we're pretty much introduced to the first time we ever seen Chris Evans in the Marvel Universe, not the most recent time. We're introduced to him being in the Fantastic Four. So Deadpool's like, we don't even know him.
Like, the crazy thing is I grew up, like, I was born in 93, so I was, like, in elementary school and stuff like that in the early 2000s when these movies like Spider-Man, I remember when all these came out, and that was superhero movies. It didn't even cross people's, like, everyone already said, well, they were connected universes, but they never showed any connection. So to see it turn into what it's become, to where, like, literally if you can remember a superhero movie from, like, 1978 that has, like, the word, somehow it now ties back to the Marvel fucking universe.
And I like to thank Deadpool for that in a way, because he mentions even actors' names. Like, he's like, oh, that's Captain, and then it turns into fucking the dude from Fantastic Four. Like, oh, we don't know him. That's like, I thought that was fucking beautiful. I also love the fact that backtrack before they got sent to the trash pile, Deadpool's like, why is Thor crying when he's looking at the screen? And he made a big point in the entire movie about Thor crying, but we never find out why.
Yeah, so the TVA kid gets Deadpool because they tell him his universe is dying and that he had been deemed special and is going to be added to the 616 main timeline. And on the screen of possibilities of Wade's future in the MCU, there's Thor holding him as like he's dying, crying over him. And then we're like, all movie, he keeps waking up to going, God of Thunder.
What's another interesting thing is when they end up fighting Xavier's sister, who is fucking powerful as shit. They don't beat her, but they're the only people.
She does weird finger thing.
Yeah, she reads minds and shit through the fingers. But like, they escape. They're the only people ever to escape. Now, before they escape, Deadpool was like, hey, he was talking all kinds of shit about you, and they kill Johnny. He kills Johnny.
Yeah, I remember that.
Flesh falling off. Well, they end up leaving. There's so much shit that happens. Deadpool ends up meeting up with this group of people. Now, I got goose pimples when I saw this scene, but
Me too.
He ends up running into this dude that fucks with cards. I forget his name.
Gambit.
The Gambit. He has a full name though, and then he's just like, just call me Gambit.
Right. I know him. I know what the full name is. I can't remember right now, but his name is Gambit. And by the way, bought on suit, bought on Louisiana accent for him. The whole thing was exactly right for the character.
And then we're introduced to the girl that the Logan of Deadpool's universe died saving.
Or a variant of that had seen a very similar thing happen.
Yeah, well, I think it's the same universe.
Again,
she knew about it. So that's why.
Well, yes. But the reason why is because, okay, if you look at the timeline they set up in Deadpool, if it's all the same universe, then she shouldn't be that age until way into the future when Logan dies. But Logan ain't dead in Deadpool's time when he's first around. So there's a lot of time jumping. There's a lot of different shit happening that if you're not careful, you can miss. So, like, I saw someone do a breakdown after I'd seen the movie, and they're like, this may not be the exact same X-23, but yet a variant of her who went through a very similar situation.
She did say in the movie she doesn't want to be called that. She wants to be called, I forget her
Yep.
name. What was her name in the movie?
So X-23 is what we call her.
What was it?
If we can't remember her name, X-23 is what we call her.
Okay. And then we're introduced to a very familiar face. We're introduced to Wesley Snipes as Blade again.
Motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill.
Now, he has one line in that movie there that gives me more goosebumps than that, and it's because there's been talks about a new Blade movie coming out with somebody else. And Wesley says in the movie, there's only one Blade and there only will be one fucking Blade. I'm like,
dude, yeah. I popped big for that part too. I was like, that is freaking awesome.
So the reason why they said that is because they're in this car that they're going back to meeting up with this woman. Now, we did skip over some interesting shit. We skipped over Wolverine and Sabretooth had a fight again, which was short.
Lasted like longer than your normal sex activities.
It ended in just his head getting chopped off, so that's kind of why I missed that, but it was kind of an interesting fight. The Wade Wilson and Wolverine fight in the car was great.
Oh my gosh, it was freaking amazing.
But they ended up going back to meeting that woman, and they found out
that she can send them back to Deadpool's original universe so they can stop the TVA from destroying it.
But before that, they found out that the only way to beat her was to use the helmet of Mr. Magneto. However, that helmet was destroyed, so they have to use the helmet of what the fuck's his name?
The Juggernaut, bitch.
The Juggernaut, which in this universe is just a small dude.
No, you didn't know that's the Juggernaut from X-Men 3.
I know, but he's not the fucking Juggernaut.
No, he's not from Deadpool, from the second Deadpool movie. I prefer that Juggernaut over this one, but this Juggernaut was the one from the original X-Men movie.
But they steal his helmet. They end up putting it on her because you think she's going to kill Wolverine, but instead Deadpool puts the helmet on her and is threatening to kill her. And then some dude comes out there and starts shooting her. We find out the reason why is because the guy of TVA hired him to shoot her. But we find that out because Deadpool and Wolverine save her life. She ends up not keeping to her promise of killing the two. She ends up using the ring that she stole from Mr. What the fuck are you doing?
The Doctor Strange, and it was a portal ring that had been crafted with the reality and time stone.
You made me forget my train of thought with your dancing, motherfucker. Anyway.
Oh, you were talking. I was just sitting here. I had this on.
Doctor Strange's ring. They did that little portal, and Deadpool and Wolverine jump through it. They end up meeting up with the guy, and then boom, she comes through the portal too, and mind fucks him with the fucking hand. The main dude from TVA. And we're just kind of going through the movie, and then we're going to talk about other shit that we kind of skipped. She did like the mind fuck on the dude, and the dude admitted to everything. They end up going to that time portal to destroy all universes but her own. Now, who are the people that are going to stop Deadpool and Wolverine and Nicepool, who has the dog?
Dogpool.
Well, what did he name the dog?
Oh God! I remember. Give me 1 second, because I literally just watched the thing on that dog today. Princess. What wasn't it like Princess Puppins or Mary Puppins?
Mary Puppins.
Mary Puppins, aka Dogpool.
Yes, Mary Puppins. Hey, what up? Now, they end up going down there to destroy all these universes with the machine, whatever. And we find out that Nicepool, Deadpool, and Wolverine and Mary Poppins have to fight all Deadpools from all universes.
Yes, led by the luscious Lady Deadpool and Headpool and Kidpool and Cowboypool and Deadpool 99 and Ninja Pool, and there was Black and White Pool, and there was random Spider-Man's brother Deadpool. Your mom was there. It was crazy. What I would have loved, the only thing I would have changed about that scene is I would have done more with that. Uh, like I saw a thing, someone posted a picture. It was Deadpool's mask, but it was all the members of Kiss.
That's hilarious.
That's what I mean. They could have done so many more just gags with that. It would have been great. Like I understand why they didn't, because that would have cost a lot of fucking money, but it still would have been funny.
That's kind of like that Mad Max scene in the movie. He mentioned it was Mad Maxy, but it's just enough to get past copyright.
Oh yeah, like Mad Max is a heavy inspiration for this film. It's like Mad Max meets a buddy comedy road trip meets a superhero movie meets Back to the Future.
Now, when they go to fight these Deadpools, Deadpool grabs Nice Pool, and Nice Pool gets shot multiple times. We find out he doesn't have regenerative property, but Deadpool tries to save his life, but he ends up getting his head blown off.
The best line in the movie, look, over there, an ice cream stand. They're practically med kits. Come on.
They are in movies. They're not movies, but video games.
And well, we looked over probably my favorite joke in the movie. It's very subtle. Baby knife.
Big knife, little knife.
No, baby knife.
The scene.
Baby knife, brother.
The scene where they're all killing off all these Deadpools. I actually looked over at my friend and I'm like, hey, they all have regenerative properties. And she's like, no, they don't. I'm like, okay. Or she said something. I couldn't hear her because the movie was going on. But at the very end, when they all regenerated, I'm like, hey, he's fucked.
Saw that coming. I did love the scene where they jumped out the back of the bus after killing all those Deadpools in the bus. And then they jump out the back, you just see Deadpool eat shit. And he goes, God damn it. I ruined the perfect superhero landing.
And that's the only scene they're going to fucking remember. The cool thing about the bus, going back, there's a Stan Lee appearance in the movie. The advertisement on the bus says Stan Lee Cleaners, and it has a picture of Stan Lee.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Stan Lee's actually in the movie twice. He's in the end credits where it's the old advertisement for Deadpool 2, where he's like, zip it, Stan Lee. That's another way. And I liked that, by the way, the end credit where it shows like all the X-Men movies.
Yeah, that gave me the feels for sure.
My childhood. But going back to that scene, they try to kill off all the Deadpools, they all regenerate, and then they decide to side with Wade. And
wait, no. Here's the big one, and it leads to the best joke in the movie. Had me dying for 20 minutes. Here comes another Deadpool out of nowhere, but it's not Deadpool. It's his friend Peter from the last movie, the only survivor of X-Force. Well, one of the only survivors of X-Force. And when he takes the mask off, everybody starts going, Peter, it's Peter. And then we figure out that each Deadpool has a Peter in their own universe, and he's highly regarded as a great person. And they all start partying around Peter, throwing him up and down. They're like, yeah. And as Deadpool and Wolverine are running away, he yells back, have fun playing with my Peter.
Well, you know why he's the most revered Deadpool of all universes? If you notice the joke, Peter Pool has the biggest dick of them all.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And apparently so did that lady from the TVA.
Yeah, she was like, oh, you look good in them tights.
You look really good in that suit.
But then they go down to the basement thing and they find out through the guy that the woman almost is destroying all the universes. But if they go down there, one of them's going to die if only one of them go down. Now, a lot of people are going to miss that part. But they said if you get on there, you're going to die. Your regenerative factor doesn't matter. So Deadpool and Wolverine have a little fight. They're like, hey, who's going to go in there? And Deadpool's like, I'll go in there. I got you into this mess. And Wolverine's
I'll
like,
do it because I got nothing to live for, bub.
Yeah, and Wolverine's like, I got nothing to live for. And he's like, plus, you didn't lie to me. You told me an educated
wish.
So Wolverine went to go in there, and Deadpool shoved him out of the way and locked himself in there. And then Deadpool went down there, tried saving the universe. Wolverine's trying to break through the wall. I started tearing up a little bit, by the way. And Wolverine came in, grabbed his hand, and they both sacrificed themselves in big explosion. Now,
also, side note, Henry Cavill's body is fucking ridiculous. At 55 years old, that dude looks better than me, and that's bullshit.
Fucking Hugh Jackman's.
What did I say? Henry Cavill? Fuck. I meant Hugh Jackman.
You're
My
good.
bad.
Hugh Jackman at fucking, what is he, like in his 50s now?
55. Hugh Jackman is 55 years old.
No wonder Ryan Reynolds has a crush. Now, what's funny about this
Right?
movie? You know what's funny about this movie? Do you know how this movie came to be? Ryan Reynolds kept trolling Hugh Jackman on Twitter because Hugh Jackman refused to do a movie with him. And it led to a real life feud between the two. And then they made up. And Hugh said, fuck it, I'll do it. That's how this whole thing started. It started since the first Deadpool.
The reason why I was thinking Henry Cavill is because there's a scene earlier in the movie where he's looking through other universes for Wolverines and he finds Henry Cavill as Wolverine, and it's like spot on. Like people were like saying he should be Marvel's Wolverine if they ever replace Hugh Jackman. And then there was a comic accurate Wolverine where he was like as tall as you. Mike, admit it, you're short.
Fuck off. I was hoping he would have got that Wolverine to be in the whole movie. The little person Wolverine, that would be fucking hilarious.
He should have kept popping up. I think that would have been funny.
You probably did. You just couldn't see him. But anyway, everything exploded. There were sad moments. The guy that was in charge of
Madonna was playing.
Yeah, there was that guy that was in charge of the group. He was making up a lie. He's like, my friends died down there, and I don't know how this person came to this universe. And then you heard Deadpool's voice. Him and Wolverine survived.
Well, he has risen.
And then Wolverine and Deadpool explained that you said if one of us goes down there, we will die. If both of us go down there, we have enough power to survive.
Correction. What he said was when one of us, yes, but with both of us and the power of Madonna, anything is possible.
I fucking love that line. In Madonna, we trust. But and then they did all that. The guy got arrested, and that's pretty much the movie.
Yeah, Wolverine comes into Deadpool's universe, and yeah, I guess they're still setting up for the what's now called Doomsday.
We did miss a little part. We missed the fact that Wolverine moved in with Deadpool and his blind neighbor.
Yes, Blind Owl met Wolverine.
And Blind Owl has a really good line during that whole Deadpool fight sequence. She's like, God damn it, why couldn't I be deaf?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really funny.
But we just covered 2 hours of a movie in fucking 28 minutes.
We missed some details, but if you want details, you go watch the fucking movie.
Yeah, and the movie's amazing, by the way.
Very much so.
What are some?
I was laughing through most of it. I really was. I quite enjoyed the film.
What was your favorite scenes?
See, that's really hard to say because the scene where Deadpool is wearing Wolverine's claws and he goes, "Oh, dream moment," that was great. What had me really laughing was when he comes through the TVA in his new suit and he's like, "Man, your tailor's amazing. He's also a pedo, but that's beside the point."
He's a bit of a predator.
But that's beside the point.
Or the scene where he's falling and that dude that he claimed wanted him was like looking up and was playing music and he fucking went through the universe.
That's another great line. It's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Calling your wife?" "I'm calling HR. I didn't know your wife worked for HR."
That needs to be my line if HR's ever called on me. That's By the way, you didn't even notice.
No, I did. I wasn't going to interrupt nothing. Represent, brother.
So, Deadpool, Wolverine, right? I will put it as a tie with the first one.
The first one is still, like I said, there was just something special about it because it was done on a low budget. And everybody remembers their first.
The reason why I'm saying it's just as good is because of the higher budget. Deadpool 1 will always have a warm spot in my heart because, motherfucker, I waited 15 years for that goddamn movie.
Right.
I waited when Green Lantern came out. I fucking hated it.
I thought it was
because I'm like, this motherfucker should be Deadpool. Like, what are you doing?
And then he turns around and becomes Deadpool.
Yeah.
Love it.
He becomes Deadpool. And then he went on and became Deadpool and then killed that Deadpool. And then that time that he used that time machine is why he's being punished in this time. No, he's not actually. He's being punished because of Wolverine's death.
No, yeah, what he mentioned is nothing about a punishment because he initially says in the movie, it's like, oh, this is because of my time travel shit, isn't it? He goes, no, actually.
Yeah.
What had happened was the anchor of his universe died. So apparently, the way it works now in the multiverse, let me put on my scientist glasses here. Well, the way it works now in the Marvel universe, I'm not going to talk like that the whole time. Is after your anchor being dies, your universe slowly begins to wither away and die.
Well,
and stuff stops making sense, and stuff starts changing from its original origin, which is how they're explaining. Yes, it's the same timeline from X-Men to First Class to the Wolverine to Logan. It's all the same continuity, but after Logan,
what identifies your anchor? Since you are not your own main character.
See, that was something that they didn't really mention what creates the anchor of a universe or who is the anchor of every universe. But they did mention that in the Fox universe, it was Wolverine.
Because he is the X-Men.
Right. So a lot of people now are saying, well, the anchor in the Marvel universe was Tony Stark. That's why every Marvel movie besides this one has sucked. I'm like, okay, you're just making excuses.
And also, they said that the anchor can't be replaced, but at the end of the movie, they admitted that the anchor can be replaced.
That something had happened, and yes, the anchor was replaced. But they didn't mention, was the anchor Wolverine or was it Deadpool?
Yeah, did Deadpool become the anchor in his own?
Right. Universe? They didn't say specifically which.
You know what I think they should do? On a serious note, since Stan Lee's dead now, they should put Ryan Reynolds as the cameo in all Marvel movies.
That'd be amazing if, either him or just him as Deadpool somehow just popping up in little spots here and there would make me laugh.
Is it true? I don't know if you know this or not, but isn't it true that Ryan Reynolds has a lot to do with the script writing of these movies?
I believe so, yes. I believe he does.
Because I heard somewhere that the last director that was supposed to direct this movie, Ryan Reynolds did not agree with the creative control and he quit. And Disney and 20th Century Fox called him up and said, no, you don't quit. We fired him.
Yep.
So,
and that's the kind of power you have when you are a guy head of a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Right. And then the end credit was fucking hilarious. It was like, so you get to find out whether or not I was lying about what Johnny Storm was saying. And then it went over and he even said, I don't even care if my skin gets melted off.
Yeah, he's saying all this horrible shit, word for word what Deadpool says in the movie. And he goes, see, I was right. It's great. So, I love the movie. And then, here's the thing, bro. And, right after this movie, what is the biggest announcement they could ever make? Hulk Hogan joins the NWO style transition that made the whole world lose their freaking mind. Robert Downey Jr. is back, but not as Tony Stark, but as Doom.
So
people are losing their freaking minds right now.
His announcement with Dr. Doom was actually, I must say, the biggest heel turn in real life history, because that dude. Did you watch the full announcement?
I saw the reveal in the pop.
They had Robert Downey Jr. come out in a full monk cloak at a Comic-Con. He removed his hood and there was the Dr. Doom mask, and people were like, "Oh my God, Dr. Doom's being revealed!" And he fucking removed it, and it was Robert Downey Jr. And that room was like,
not since Mania have you seen a pop so fucking big, bro.
And you know what's true and it rings true in the Marvel universe and it rings true in real life. If you live long enough as a hero, you will eventually become a villain.
Thanks, Batman.
It happened. And what's weird is it used to be Marvel and DC would not recast people. Remember that? They just would not. DC still doesn't recast people as somebody else.
They don't like to.
They don't like to. They were going to do that with Jim Carrey, from what I heard. Jim Carrey was going to be the Joker, and they decided not to.
I heard it was Robin Williams.
It was, but there was 3 choices.
I didn't know the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, there was Heath Ledger, Jim Carrey, and Robin Williams. Robin Williams turned down Dark Knight because he was asked 2 other times, and they replaced him with somebody else, so he eventually just said, fuck you. He was supposed to be the Jack Nicholson Joker. He was supposed to be the Riddler in the Batman that had Jim Carrey.
Right, I heard that one too.
And then by the time Dark Knight came, Robin's like, I'm not doing this again. And I don't blame him.
That's what I mean. Like, no, I don't either. But he would have definitely, Robin Williams as the Joker would have been amazing to watch. Let's be honest.
Here are some notable mentions of the Deadpool Corps members that weren't in the movie. There is Deadpool Pulp, Panda Pool,
Not Panda Pool. I love Panda Pool.
Golden Age Deadpool, Mime Pool, Motor Pool, Beard of the Best Pool, Squirrel Pool, Groot's Pool, Night Pool, Chibi Pool, Hawkeye
Venom Pool,
and Watari are the main Deadpool Corps members that didn't make the movie.
Again, you can't with the movie already jam packed with cameos and stuff like that. There's only so much you can fit in, and I understand that.
Yeah, but if you rewatch that scene, there was a lot of like Deadpools that was in that crowd that was just Deadpool. It wasn't like anything special. It was just there was a lot of different Deadpools, and there was a lot that was just Deadpool.
True.
You could have thrown in something more special in there. You know what I mean?
That's what I was saying earlier. Is like they could have added like little Easter eggs to. Because I've been seeing people put pictures of like Deadpool's mask, but it was like the band Kiss.
Well, I saw another one that could have been in there. It was
my mouth is really dry.
What they consider they consider zombie pool, or that Deadpool. I don't know if you're familiar with this comic lineage. And by the way, we're going to cover comics that most people haven't read unless you're a fan. There was this Deadpool. He had a stalker in one of the comics. And what his stalker did was collected the limbs of Deadpool from battle, and they combined them all into one person. Well, that person ended up coming to life and became Zombie Deadpool.
I thought that was Megapool.
It might have been
what they called him.
It might have been Megapool.
Because Zombie Deadpool shows up in Marvel Zombies, and they send him to 616, and through shenanigans, he ends up becoming Headpool.
Yeah, I got the 2 Deadpools mixed up. But anyway, I digress. This Deadpool had like various colored suits and shit from various universes that this woman has collected his limbs from. Well, this Deadpool is allegedly more powerful than the actual Deadpool. He beats him in multiple battles. So,
yeah, but he also doesn't have the brain capacity either because he's working on mixed pieces.
Yeah. So he's not as smart, but he is stronger. Which is very interesting.
Man, their comic books are weird.
Also, we also missed a couple others. Yes, we had Dogpool, but we didn't have. There was another variant of Dogpool that wasn't in the movie. Now, what's interesting about Dogpool in this movie is they ended up using a dog that won the ugliest dog contest, which I thought was really cool. I thought was really cool. But the original Dogpool is actually more menacing than that. He was like a pit bull or something.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, I really like the way they went with Dogpool. They could have easily made it a bigger dog and stuff like that, but to have this little ugly creature that is adorable, by the way, I think she's cute as a button.
I thought she was cute. The scene, my friend that was with me almost threw up because that scene where he's just sitting there with his mouth wide open, the dog just licking the inside of him.
If you've ever had a dog, you understand.
And then there was one point where Ryan had his tongue sticking out. He was like,
that I don't understand.
Like, holy shit. Now, there is kind of a discrepancy because Dogpool in the movie is a she.
Yes.
In the comics, it's a he. That's a small little Easter egg. I think they did that on purpose, though.
Honestly, you could sit and go through a lot of Easter eggs in this movie, and this podcast would be 3 hours long if we tried to do that. Like, it'd be ridiculous.
You know what I would
Because I've been seeing a lot of breakdown shit.
You know what I'd love to see them do? And I don't know if you read these comics, but they are not even canon in the comic universe, so they will never do the movie. But there was a 4-part comic book series that they announced, and Marvel said these are not canon; they are just legend. It is Deadpool kills the Marvel universe.
That is considered a multiverse story, so it happens in a multiverse, legends, whatever way you want to word it. But it's like the Deadpool kills the Marvel universe is honestly one of the greatest Deadpool stories ever told, because it shows like how vicious he really is as a killer when there's no strings attached.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads him to going on to there's like a 3-part trilogy of Deadpool kills, because it's like Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, then Deadpool kills like literature, like every made up character in existence, because his goal is to kill all Marvel characters for some odd reason, and then it becomes Deadpool versus Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Now the funniest comics, because a lot of people was pushing for the Wolverine and Deadpool because of Hugh Jackman, and yes, the Wolverine Deadpool comics were incredible, and this was the first time we saw Ryan with Hugh since Wolverine Origins, which was nice.
Right.
However, I think they need to do a Deadpool Spider-Man movie because those comics were fucking hilarious.
There is talks of doing a Deadpool Spider-Man crossover, and I hope they do it because I want to see it. Yeah, I want to see it.
You know what would be hilarious? If Blind Owl becomes fucking Daredevil. That would be fucking hilarious.
Wait, no, that's a step too fucking far. Don't get me wrong. He should totally do a joke like that where he went shopping for Blind Owl and she's like, why do I gotta wear this shit? We're superheroes, Blind Owl, and it's her dressed up as Daredevil.
I didn't mean she becomes him. I meant like she dresses like him. But
yeah, that'd be great.
The Spider-Man Deadpool comics, though, were my favorite. They were hilarious.
Like, comics are always something I've enjoyed, and I've spent a long portion of my adult life kind of relearning shit that a lot of people grew up with, like a lot of historical, like, you know, the death of Superman stories, iconic Batman stories. So a lot of research has gone into that. Thank God for audio comics and stuff like that, because I would have never been able to learn all this information on my own.
Another good comic book series you should check out. And I know it's a big universe. You might be into it. I think we've had a discussion about it. The Star Wars comics.
A little bit of Star Wars here and there, I don't mind. A little bit.
Dude, their universe is fucking huge. You
thought
the Marvel...
You're telling me.
Fucking Star Wars has like thousands and thousands and thousands of years of mythology. Like, they have more mythology than any religion. Like, that shit.
They have so much mythology, they had to go back and rewrite their mythology and say that it's just a legend. This is what really happened. That's how much fucking mythology Star Wars has.
You want to know what else is crazy? How much mythology they have? Disney is now going back and saying comics that they themselves wrote are now just legends. Like,
why has it got to be so hard to be a fan of anything anymore?
Well, you know what pissed me off, and I'm a nerd, but what pissed me off is Disney was like, anything that happened before us is now legend because it didn't matter when George Lucas was in charge. No, George Lucas made sure that the comics followed and didn't cover shit that was in the movies because they coincide.
Shit just, when it comes to Star Wars, that whole... because I enjoyed The Mandalorian, but at this point, it's like every other character. There's so, like you said, so much lore in like. What point do you get to when you start making a movie from the younglings' perspective, the ones that Anakin
Dude, you know what I want to see? I want to go back further than that. I want to see a Knights of the Old Republic movie.
I could dig it.
They're
I could dig
making
it.
one from what I've heard, or a TV series starring Keanu Reeves.
Whoa.
But I got a question, though. We were talking about Star Wars a little bit, but the Marvel Universe, I have a great question. Are the comic books considered canon in the cinematic universe, or are they their own separate thing, or are they considered legends?
They're considered their own universe. So the comics are their own universe in themselves.
So, unlike Star Wars, where things are considered legend and like is just hearsay, in Marvel they
If you have read it in a comic book, more than likely it is a branching timeline or alternate universe or a what if, and all of that they've established now through the multiverse stuff is all technically canon to the MCU because everything is.
That's what I thought, because with Star Wars, it's different. With Star Wars, they call them legends because it's kind of like word of mouth kind of thing, because they
like it's the original history they were going with, and then they decided to rewrite a bunch of stuff and retcon things, and it's like, okay, but these stories still exist. People know these stories. Well, they're legends.
Well, that's what they are saying. That's the reality of it. But for like fans that are like, don't really take it seriously, but get involved in it, legends is more so of like word of mouth. Like, this is what this person said or whatever. It's not necessarily what actually happened until Disney says it is.
Right.
Which is
like the Darksaber and all that stuff was just legend up until they started adding shit into the TV series, and now I believe it's getting into the movies. I'm not sure. I don't keep up with it as much.
However, they did say anything in a TV show or a movie is canon, so therefore the Knights of the Old Republic are somewhat canon because Darth Bane was mentioned in the Clone Wars TV series. Also, a lot of the old Knights of the Old Republic characters were mentioned in Clone Wars, the TV series, and also in the Star Wars prequel trilogy, they mentioned Darth Plagueis the Wise, the guy who was before.
Yeah.
And he was the one that got killed by his apprentice, who was later on revealed as, do you remember?
Palpatine. Yeah, there was Palpatine. But here's the honest to God thing, and I know I would have liked that better if it wasn't Palpatine. If it was literally a legend of the Sith. Like, they don't know who his apprentice was, but they heard a legend of this man who could keep people from dying and then was killed by his apprentice. I would have liked if they would have kept it as a legend, because then it's like, is he telling the truth? Or is he just telling Anakin what he wants to hear? You know what I mean?
I also think what they should have done, I think that I like what they did with that, because here's why. They mentioned Darth Plagueis, right?
The Wise.
When this newer movies came out, they had this character that they were teasing. His name was what was the fuck was his name? He's that
was Snoke?
Snoke. Do you know who Snoke should have been revealed as?
Darth Plagueis.
But guess who Darth Plagueis should have been? Mr. Darth Plagueis. It should have been revealed as evil Jar Jar Binks.
Yes.
I'm not saying have that voice. Have him come out and be like, Misa back, and like completely form into this fucking demonic looking creature.
No, dude. Keep the fucking voice. That would make it that much better. Misa Darth Plagueis. You thought Misa was stupid. Well, stupid.
Did you know Jar Jar Binks was actually supposed to be revealed as a Sith Lord, but the fan base hated him so much that George Lucas scrapped that idea?
I really hope that's true.
It is. I'm going to the grave with this belief, and we can talk about it next time. Because I have talked about this with friends, and I am strongly convinced that Jar Jar Binks, because there is interviews with George Lucas where he says he's behind it all, and he points at Jar Jar Binks. And this was before the movies came out. He also said that all of the bad guys of Star Wars is supposed to mirror the good guys of the original trilogy. The only one we're missing is Yoda. And
who would be their Yoda? It would be their, okay, I see. How
else is Jar Jar able to survive all these fights? Every single Sith Lord and every single Jedi fights in different forms of martial arts. Jar Jar Binks fights in Drunken Master. It makes it look like he's a stumbling idiot, but everything is predetermined and pre-planned. He also uses the Force in the movies.
Yeah, I saw a thing breaking that down too. It shows him at little points waving his hands,
Yeah.
where it's like, is he doing force tricks? Is he doing mental manipulation tricks?
And there's also the fact that even though they changed the idea with Jar Jar, and even the voice actor came out and said, yeah, there was other plans for Jar Jar. Even though we didn't get Jar Jar revealed as a Sith Lord, he is still behind all the events of the original trilogy because he put
Yep,
Palpatine in charge. He used
that he did.
He used the Force to manipulate the Senate to put Palpatine in charge. He was actually
Yep.
kicked out of his tribe or whatever you call it because they were afraid of him, not because he was dumb.
Theories, people. Theaters.
Theories. Because I think George Lucas is smarter than that. I think he was going to let it run for 3 movies and then reveal him as the bad guy. But due to people hating Jar Jar, he didn't do that. And I think that would have been a better ending than what the fuck we got.
I do too.
Because he was supposed to, and even the voice actor said he had a second voice for Jar Jar. There was a plan for him. That was not his voice. That was him manipulating people.
Again, I would have been interested. That I think would have added a nice little wrinkle to things for sure.
Yeah, I've been in charge this whole time. Marcus Howell just joined and he liked it because me and him both have talked about this theory in depth. And I'm sorry, I know
I literally just watched a thing about it the other day.
I know we were talking about fucking Marvel, but the fact is the Marvel and the Star Wars universe are now under the same hands. So
yeah, you just wait. Wolverine's going to be fighting with lightsaber claws before too fucking long.
Dude, I want to see Deadpool show up in the new Star Wars movie.
That would be a great scene if you show him in one of the in another Deadpool movie where he shows up somehow on the fucking Death Star with a lightsaber. Like, how the hell did I get here?
Well, you want to hear an Easter egg that didn't make it in Deadpool?
Huh?
Kidpool actually fought with lightsabers in the comic books.
Yes, he did.
They removed that from the movie because they didn't want to teeter the lines of copyright issues, even though they own the rights. They didn't.
Right, like you really think, like, okay, that would have really cemented, like, look, he has a lightsaber, and you could even have plugged it like Deadpool, like, is that a lightsaber? You know, the kind you can get from Disney World.
I like how he's like, now I can go to Disney World, like he was kicked out.
That was great when he pulled the camera back. Fuck it, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland.
So I think we covered the movie in its entirety. Now I will ask you what we need to ask. Since this is a movie review, how would you rate it 1 out of 5?
Oh, 1 out of 5. See, those are hard for me because it feels like there's not enough stars. Like, does it have its flaws here and there with some timeline stuff? Absolutely. I would say, huh?
Do you want to do 1 through 10?
Yeah, let's do 10. I would say an 11.
I would say 11 too, dude. This movie was fucking cinematic gold. I think it's the best movie I've seen in a long time in theaters. Now that might not say a lot because the movies that I've seen in theaters was like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
I want to see it.
I haven't seen the sequel yet, but the first one's pretty fucking good, bro.
I want to see the sequel. I've heard things about the first one, and then I know that they're doing a whole Marvel version of like these old school Disney characters like Winnie the Pooh, Bambi, Pinocchio. They're all going to come together in a horror movie, Avengers style.
It's the same guy that did the fucking Winnie the Pooh. I guess he's doing Steamboat Willie. I think it's the same guy. And do you know who Steamboat Willie is?
Yes, it's the Mickey Mouse.
It's the original Mickey Mouse. It's the only one that's in public domain right now. Mickey Mouse is,
which means you could make anything out of it, and they can't sue you.
Yeah, so Disney still has Mickey Mouse for another like 10, 20 years, I think. However, Steamboat Willie is in public domain. So now they're doing a horror movie starring the guy that played fucking Art the Clown and Terrifier.
I really enjoyed him as the Grinch in the Mean One.
I heard that's a good one.
If you know what you're getting into with it, like you can tell it's a B budget movie, but it's a good time if you just relax and have fun with it.
What I want to see them do is I want to see them take it one step further. Give us the original Grimm fairy tales in the cinema.
See, they've tried that a number of times.
The original, like the fucked up Grimm fairy tales that fucking like Disney ruined.
Like Red Riding Hood, but not make her a whore.
Yeah,
I didn't even see that movie.
Little Red Riding Hood. Like, there's a lot in here, and they're not all grim. But like, you have Little Red Riding Hood. You have Jack and the Beanstalk, Rip Van Winkle.
And actually make them into like these dark, twisted tales that they were originally. I'd dig it.
You know who should play Rip Van Winkle?
Hmm.
Robert Van Winkle, Vanilla Ice. That's his real name, dude. Robert Van Winkle.
I know it is. It's crazy.
He sounds like a fucking Beauty and the Beast.
They've made that into several different adaptations, but nothing I would say that really fits the original criteria.
No, dude. And I think we should definitely get into like how fucked up these stories are. I would love to like read them aloud or something if that's allowed. I don't know if it's allowed. But
story time, more of the Grimm fairy tales you should, because I think those are public domain.
Okay. So, DA, is there anything you want to promote or push before we get off of here?
August 7th, Charleroi Market House, Mon Valley Pro Wrestling will be back home and back in action. Don't miss out. 6 p.m. start time, 7 p.m. bell time. It's going to be a lot of pillar to post, coast to coast, fun, hard-hitting action.
So do you have a match that night, or are you not?
Nothing I'm aware of just yet, but you'll be first to post. Still going to plug the show no matter what happens because, hey, they're my boys. It's my home, and I want to see my home thrive.
Oh, you're good, bro. I was just wondering because I know you wasn't medically cleared last time. I wasn't sure if you were medically cleared this time.
Still talking to doctors, seeing how things work out. I'm going to get that Canadian bastard. Rick, you want to? I'm sorry, folks. I can't even barely talk about what they did to me and how they screwed me over. What are you giving me the grumpy face for? That's it. You got to smile when you do that one. And it's elbow up, motherfucker.
I can't do that. I'm a splasher, bro. I'm not a puncher.
Greatest splash ever.
Yeah, dude. I have the best splash in the game. I might turn it into a frog splash next time.
RVD's calling you up for pointers right now. That's how good this splash was.
Dude, that splash was like a Vader splash. That was like a Yokozuna.
Dude, it was a Warrior winning the title style splash. It was amazing.
That, bro. Come on now. Like, I don't like that insult. That's Warrior is the only wrestler, and I hate to talk bad about the dead, but he's the only wrestler I know that can botch a splash, other than me. But anyway, go check out Mon Valley Pro Wrestling. They're amazing. And as always, guys, live long, rock hard, and
all hail the Black Sheep Society.
Yeah, and hail the pink sock. Not inhale. Yeah. Not inhale. I said hail. Don't inhale. Don't inhale it. You might choke.